It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
You want something, go get it. Period.
You gotta keep moving, let's keep moving, let's go. Don't quit till you got nothing left.
This is where we have been, this is how we got here, this is who we are.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
You're listening to the Hustle Indie Show, sponsored by FS Houses, where we seek out some of Indie's most hustling people and places to learn about what they do, how they got started, and where they're going. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Hustle Indie Show. Ian, what's special about this one?
The final episode of Season 1, ending off 2020. We made it.
How crazy is that?
It honestly is kind of mind-blowing. I didn't expect to make it this far, honestly.
It went by really fast.
It went by too fast. I can't
Really
believe that
fast.
Christmas is right around the corner. Just this whole year for me personally has just gone by so quickly. Thanksgiving just came upon us like that. Now Christmas is right here. It's so fast.
It's crazy, man. I mean, this is the time of year when I think things start to slow down. The year comes to an end. Everyone's reflecting.
Yeah.
And I am definitely one of those people as I'm
Yeah.
reflecting on how amazing this show has been, how awesome having these awesome guests in here has been, learning more about their stories, learning about what they're doing, where they came from, and just getting to know Indianapolis and some of its leaders better.
Yeah, and it was, like I said before, something we haven't really expected to do. And the fact that we were able to get out here and get it done and be so, successful for what we've done so far has been awesome. It's been a blessing, and being able to do it with you has just been really fun.
You're
Man.
going to make me cry.
No, it really has been awesome.
It's been a joy, and we couldn't have done it without our sponsor, FS Houses. We want to thank FS Houses. Ian, tell these wonderful people a little bit about FS Houses.
Absolutely. FS Houses is a local real estate brokerage here in Indianapolis, and they do anything in real estate, from investments, property management, traditional sales, or really anything else that you might have questions about real estate related. FS Houses will bring a professional and yet personal touch to the world of real estate to help you kind of guide you through it if you are a new person as well. FS Houses now offers marketing services as well, such as photo, video, website design and creation, social media expansion, anything like that. And you can find out more about FS Houses on their website, which is fshouses.com. Again, that is fshouses.com.
Thank you, FS Houses, for sponsoring an entire season now.
Entire season
of the Hustle Indie Show. Be sure to show them some love. If you have any real estate needs, any marketing needs, hit them up. They're some awesome people, and they've allowed us to meet some awesome people. All right, so today on this last episode of Season 1 of the Hustle Indie Show, we've got a special guest with us today. We have Mandy with us. So, Mandy, we'd like to welcome you to the Hustle Indie Show. How are you doing today?
Really good.
Good. What have you been up to today?
So today I slept in a little bit.
That's always nice.
So normally, like, my routine is I get up and then I meditate.
Okay.
And then I exercise in some form. And so since it was nice out today, I actually took my dogs for a walk in the park.
That's
so
awesome.
Perfect.
I got up, I was getting ready, and I was like, oh, the sun's out. I was like, you guys want to go for a walk? And they were like, heck yeah. So I took them for a walk and then went back home and got caught up on all my office work.
There you go.
And knew that I had this. And so the reason I had to change the time was because we were initially an hour later, because we're actually taking our team tonight out for a celebration dinner.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because we've had some cool stuff happening in business right now. And
awesome.
It's always really cool and makes people feel good when you celebrate.
Sure.
When we have victories and wins. So we're going to do that. So
awesome. That sounds like you got an awesome day lined up for you.
I do, actually. I try to make every day awesome, but
Yeah.
All right, so starting out for these listeners, this is Mandy. Before we get into exactly what you do, tell us a little bit more about where you came from. Where did you grow up? How did you end up in Indianapolis?
So I was actually born in Sullivan County, which is about 25 miles south of Terre Haute, and real small town. And then I moved to Indy when I was in third grade.
Okay.
And so, born and raised in Indiana. You know, everyone, because I don't look like I'm from here.
Sure.
I think people don't think I act like I'm from here. I have tattoos all over me under shirts and stuff. And so when people meet me, they're always like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'm here.
Indiana.
right here, Indiana.
Born fed Indiana.
Yeah. And so, you know, Indiana's been good to me. And so went to college here. Went to Ball State.
Okay.
Awesome,
Yeah. And went to Ball State in Indiana. And so I have been on an airplane and been out of Indiana, but
What did you study while you were at Ball State?
criminal justice and
Oh,
counseling
awesome.
psychology.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I will tell you, Ball State's a good school, and it's changed a lot up there. But when I was there, it was a #1 party school in the United States. When I was there, I played club level rugby when I was there.
Okay.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so that was entertaining.
Yeah.
But, you know, for me, I always kind of looked at college like, what's the point of this almost? And so...
And that's becoming more and more of a discussion.
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
And so I graduated in 3 years because I did kind of look at it like, okay, I'm kind of putting my life on pause by being in college. And so I graduated in 3 years and was excited to get started with my life. And then I left college, and my dad had been in the insurance business, and he was like, you're going to be in the insurance business. You're going to take over my agency.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good lesson. And so I did that 3 times and failed all 3 times because that's not what I wanted to do.
Sure.
I wasn't passionate about it. And so, I mean, I saw my dad making all this money, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And the 3rd time, I was like, no, I'm not going to. What am I doing? I hated it.
Right.
And so for me, it was like, you know, I was young at the time. And so for me, it was like, but I didn't know, like I wasn't self-aware. Okay. And so I didn't really start to become self-aware until I was 30. And my brother passed away. And my wife and I took a class on like how to be better humans. And so in this class, it really taught me how to be self-aware. And I'm 45 now. And so like when you become self-aware and start to really understand your strengths and weaknesses, and I read this book once called The Strength Finder, and what the book is, I'll tell you. You don't have to read it. What it is it's really it talks about focus on your strengths. If you're good at 3 things, freaking focus on those 3 things instead of focusing on the 192 you suck at.
Yeah.
And so for me, I really started focusing on the 3 things I was good at. And my life became just so much different, and in business too. And so, but I didn't know this back then when I was in my 20s. I didn't know that. And so I you know, muddled my way through it, had lawn mowing businesses. And,
Really?
Yeah. And I've had a lot of businesses.
Wow.
And so for me now, it's like when I get into things, I could be making like a lot of money. And what I've realized is like, you can't take it with you. You know, you've never seen a hearse carrying a U-Haul with it. And so like for me, it's like if I get into a situation and I don't like who I'm in that situation with, or it doesn't feel good, like I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's, for me, that's been really eye-opening. But I mean, so even though I took that school when I was 30, it took me a minute to still learn all the lessons.
Take it into
Yeah. So it took me a minute. And so like every day in life, it just gets so much better because, you know, you hear people say, oh, you know, old people, they're so wise. Well, you know what? I'm learning they freaking are. Like the older I get, I'm like, shit, I'm becoming like this wise old person because you can't take away experience. And like there's a lot to be said for experience, especially for people who pay attention when they're having those experiences and learning moments. And so, yeah, it's interesting for me.
So those 3 things you mentioned, those 3 strengths that you've really focused on, what are those for you?
So that's a great question. And so for me, it's paying attention to how I feel and like doing like
introspection kind of?
Yeah, and like, okay, and like following my intuition. Okay, so definitely intuition. I'm a big thinker. Okay, and so it's really, really, really important for me to source implementers in my life because I will crash and burn without an implementer. And so what I've learned is they don't make the perfect person. They do not exist.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that was something I had to learn too. And so like if I hire someone or even if I'm going to become friends with someone, like it applies anywhere in business, wherever. And so you can look at someone and you can see, what they're not good at. But it's like really where the trained eye becomes in is, what are they good at?
Right.
And how do I take that and use it to my advantage? Even friendships. Okay. And so I even do that in my friendships too. It's like, okay, this friend is a caretaker. Okay. And so this friend wants to take care of me. Okay. This friend's a planner. Okay. And so you do that in business too. And you put people on, I call it your board. You put people on your board where you need them or want them. And so, so to get back to your question, so the first one, I'm very intuitive. The second one is I'm a big thinker, and so I know how to source implementers. The third thing would be I know how to read like people really well and energy and know where to put them on my board, life, your board. And so I've gotten really, really good at that. And so they also talk, there's a book and it's about, what the hell is the name of that book? It's by Jim Collins. It's a red cover.
Oh, I can get you.
It's about the bus.
The power of the internet. Jim.
What the hell is the name of the book?
Good to Great.
Yeah, Good to Great.
gotta be
Okay,
red.
yeah,
Yes.
good. Yeah, Good to Great. Okay,
I've
so
actually
I'll
heard
tell
of
you
that
about the
book.
book. You don't have to read it. So basically, what the book's about is, so in life we have life. Our life is our bus. Okay, so Mandy Sheckles, I'm driving the bus. I noticed Ian's taking notes. This must be good. You can rewind it and watch this later. So like I'm driving the bus in my life, right? Okay, so I've got all these seats behind me. Okay, and so because I'm the driver, I get to pick who gets on my bus and who I kick off my bus. Whether that's people in business, whether it's friends, whether it's family. Sometimes family shouldn't be on our bus, and so. So that really taught me that too. And so with that too, with your bus, I call it my board.
Yeah.
I get to decide who's on my board and what role they play and what I let them do and how I, and so it's really, I've learned all this. And so that's been key for me too.
So I'm more of the practical question asker. So what exactly do you do now? What is considered your job or your career?
So for money.
Yes.
Yeah. So I do
Yes.
I do want to say this. So I do feel like my truest and highest calling in life is being a parent.
Okay.
Okay.
Love that.
And so when I was young, I put so much focus on what people do for their work in a monetary value.
Interesting.
Okay. And so I did, and I know your show's about, people working and making money. So I might be throwing you through a little
No, this is great. This is
curveball
great.
here.
I love it.
But, for me, it's like I had to learn the hard way. That's how life always does it.
Sure.
It's
Yep,
never
it's the best
easy.
way
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's never easy. And so, I had to learn, like, there are so many people that walk this planet and this earth that don't ever have the opportunity to even make money. Like you think about maybe people that stay home with their kids, people that live in third world countries. It's like, there's only a certain select people that gauge our worth and our value based upon our bank accounts. And so it took me a minute to understand that lesson because I think people bring so much more value than what they make financially.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Absolutely.
so there's so many people like teachers. Look at the value they bring to this world.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
they don't make a lot of money. And so that's not fair in my opinion.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people who walk this earth that really bring so much more value than
Than what the dollar sign says.
than what the dollar
Yeah.
sign says.
Yeah.
Okay, so to answer your question, I won't be
No,
like
no, I
that
love that.
person. Well, we
No.
interviewed Mandy Sheckles. She wouldn't even tell us what she did. So I pretty much do now, and I've had software companies, I've owned insurance, I've had other things, and so what I do right now, and you could ask me next week, and it could be different because I do things that I like to do,
Love that,
and so for right now, I do anything real estate related.
Okay.
I'm a real estate broker, and I'm a real estate investor, and I wholesale deals. I mean, I do anything real estate related.
We love that around here. Yeah, sure.
And so I really enjoy construction. I've flipped a few homes in my
Oh,
life.
really?
Awesome.
Yeah, I've written a book if you want to Google that.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
what's it called?
Yeah.
What's it called? What's the name of this book?
The Art of Flipping Homes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've written a book, and so I would really,
Cool.
honestly, I would really like to. I think I might like to write another book on like parenting or life or something
Yeah.
non-business related. The first book was super boring.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like freaking where's the pillow in the bed right now when I take a nap.
Yeah.
So, but I needed it for, the time I was in my life. I guess I felt like it was important to write a book on real estate.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't do that again. But I'm very happy that I did it. It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
And so, something else that I will say, you two are, a little bit young, is I always teach my kids these lessons. And so one of the things that I always teach my kids is things are never as they seem, right? Things are never as they seem. And so things seem a certain way, but they're never as they seem. So like you two probably wouldn't know that I have 7 kids.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Right. So you probably, were like, oh, she's probably a firefighter, drives a pickup truck, doesn't have any kids.
No.
So one time at the gym, I had someone like tell me after she met me and like knew me, she was like, I totally thought you were this badass firefighter that drove a truck with no kids and you were single. And I was like, nope, married, 22 years, been with my wife, 7 kids. I have quadruplets.
Wow.
Right. Talk about karmic debt. I either owed karmic debt from the past or I'm putting it in the
Wow.
bank for the future. So,
Whoa.
okay, what else?
So
you wanna
that's
ask
your
me?
full-time job then, parenting.
Parenting's my full time. It's
That's
my
awesome.
truest and highest calling. Yes. I love being a parent.
Really? That's awesome. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
Especially from someone who has had so much experience in business.
Right.
I don't think it's difficult to think off the top of my head of really successful people in business that have put so much emphasis on the family. And I think it's really cool to hear that from someone that has had
Yeah,
varying
it's
business.
very, very important to me.
Yeah, how do you balance that?
So it's interesting because I was about probably 12 and we were in Florida on vacation. Mm-hmm. And I was in the back seat and my mom was driving. And so we were in Florida because that's big part of the story. And there was a train. And I was in the back seat and like the train had traffic blocked. And we were sitting there for like what seemed like 4 days. And I was like, why aren't all these people honking at this train?
Right.
And she was like, Mandy, all those type A personality people have died. They don't get to retire to Florida. And so I've always remembered that story.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I've always remembered that story. Like always.
Yeah.
Because it's like sometimes you just have to chill out. Mm-hmm. Like, and so just be in the present moment and just experience what you're experiencing.
Sure.
And so I think it would be interesting because my brain is like wired like masculine and feminine. And so I really would like to write a book out there to give men permission to live their lives how I think they should be living them. And because there's so much emphasis put on men that, and kind of brainwashed actually, I think, by our society of how they should be and what they should be doing and how they should be experiencing life. And I think a lot of that is wrong because I think men and women should be equal. And if men choose and if women choose that they want to put family first, they should do that.
Sure.
And I think society puts so much
Baggage.
on people, and it needs to be this way with our advertising and with everything.
Yeah. Music is one of the worst.
Yeah, and so I would love to like give men permission to like take control back of their lives and like be like, no, like I get one shot at this. I'm gonna do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you look at the statistics too of disengaged parents, disengaged fathers. They don't lie in favor when one parent is disengaged or not there or showing lack of care.
Yes.
The kids usually have some sort of poor statistic that ends up in their life, and it's devastating to hear when that is pushed. Even that kind of lifestyle of go to work, don't care about your family, make money, and put food on the table. That's what's pushed in our society, which is dangerous, I think.
I think so too, and I think that we should start to re-educate our society, and it's going to take some powerful leaders to do that. But because I have been in situations, because I'm the primary breadwinner of my relationship with my wife, and I've been in situations where it's like, God, is this how, like, stereotypically speaking, most of the providers who happen to be men, based upon statistics, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong, like, is this how they feel? Because I feel like, I know we're getting down a rabbit hole right now.
This is great.
Yeah, but it's like they're being pushed out, being like, here, go make all this money, and you're away from the family all the time, or you're traveling all the time, and you don't get to be with your family. I don't agree with that.
Then 20 years down the road, you look back and you're like, man, look, I got my kids through college. I got them in a nice relationship. They're married now. They have their own family. It's like, wait a minute.
With no memories.
Where was I at during all of that?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So hopefully this will be a good lesson for you guys as you start families.
No, absolutely.
I feel like I need to tell you this as you're starting your careers.
Yeah, go for it.
And your lives and everything.
Advice for us and anyone listening.
I feel like I need to give you guys some advice. Like I love I love teaching. Like my kids, like literally, they'll be like, my oldest, she's in college. She's
really?
Wow,
she's a freshman at IU. And so she'll tell me, she'll be like, Mom, I find myself repeating your advice to my friends.
That's funny.
Oh no, I'm becoming my mother.
They have I think it's a Progressive commercial where they're talking about how to not become your parents.
Yes.
This guy's reading a submarine book. He's like, who reads submarine books? My dad.
Right. Yeah. So my advice to you would be, since you are getting into a field that requires relationships, is this, if you're going to work in business, everybody loves to take people they like with them, no matter what they're doing. And so just know that's one thing I love about Ryan and Ashley is they don't operate from ego, right? And so they're good leaders for you two to have. Because there's so many people in business that operate from ego. And just come from a place of kindness and always wanting to help people first before helping yourself. I'm not saying fall on the sword, but, that's really important. And because I can't tell you how many opportunities I've gotten because people will circle back to me, even a few years later. And well, like Ryan, like, hey, you want to be on the show? Like,
Sure.
And so like Ryan's, we've known each other for several years in this business. And it's like, you need to see people for people, not necessarily what they're doing at that time. Right. And so Brendan and Ian. Yes.
Ian.
Ian. So, it's like right now you guys are marketing guys, but in 5 years you're going to be something else.
Be very different, yeah.
Yeah, and so the Rolodex that you're going to build, I'm kind of aging myself right there saying Rolodex. People don't even use
contact book.
Yeah, whatever the hell it's called. Whatever it's called. You're going to take those people with you, right? And so now you know me, and so you're going to take me with you. So I'll still be with you in 5 years, and in 10 years, and in 20 years, and no matter what you're doing. And so you got to remember everybody that you come in contact with and save their contact info.
Yeah.
And so because you want to take those people and remember the good people, right? And be like, okay, I want to take these people with me. You're putting them on your bus, right?
Yeah.
And you want to be able to pull out that wild card and be like, oh yeah, I remember Mandy.
Right.
She talked because, blah blah blah, whatever it is. It doesn't even
Yeah.
have to be work related.
Sure.
But, you could have kids by then and be like, Mandy's, you know what? Mandy's got 7 kids. I bet she knows the answer to this about whatever it is with my kid. And so
Interesting. Yeah.
So what is a day-to-day? So we've kind of gotten your heart behind your ventures and where your time is spent. What does your day-to-day look like then? Practically speaking, what does that heart played out in a day look like?
So for right now, and it can change because I get bored very easily. So for right now, I am focusing a lot of my efforts on finding inventory. That's what I do. I find inventory, which everybody is doing right now.
Yeah.
And so
It's hard to do right now.
Yeah, we've put a lot of things in place, finding inventory, and whether whoever we're moving that inventory to. So I used to do, which I like to do, project management. I'm not doing that right now.
Yeah.
But I love project management because I find myself liking to herd people. Like I love to herd grown men. And typically grown men are in construction.
Yeah.
Because there's so many moving parts and pieces. So I like project management. I like, so this is something about me that I've learned, is I like to work on things, not in things. And so I like to put my implementers on my board where I can look down and be like, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. You're good at these 4 things. You're good at these 2 things. You do this. And so I like to mastermind things.
Yeah.
I'm not a very good doer. It's not a good seat for me. And so I've just learned that. So to answer your question, right now, I am sourcing inventory. That's what I'm doing.
How does that work on a practice? So like, what do you look for? Like in this market we're in right now, the prices are very high. Inventory is low, kind of in general, at least good inventory for relatively good price. So how do you go about doing that? Is that something that is just purely on the MLS? Do you look just through your contact list? Is it something that you go drive around and search for houses, or how does that look like?
So all the above.
Yeah.
We farm the MLS. We flyer, we send out letters, we call neighborhoods. We've used Deal Machine, whichever, any real estate investors heard of that. We've got telemarketers that make phone calls. And when they call me to try to get me to sell my houses, I try to recruit their VAs. That's how I roll.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And so, I think everyone in real estate, we're all out there looking under rocks right now. Yeah. Everybody's out looking under rocks.
Yeah.
And so, but this goes back to relationship building. And so I tell people, my kids and people on my team, it's like, don't ever burn a bridge. And it's important because if you're a complete ass during a transaction, do you think they're going to want to work with you again? No.
Yeah.
No. And so that's where I get tickled because I see so many people operate from ego. And it's like, how's it working out for you?
Yeah.
Right. And so, and the reason I know that is because I used to operate from ego, and that's how I know this, and that's how I'm so well versed on it. And I'm not that person anymore, operating from ego. So, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, everybody's trying to find deals.
Yeah. So for someone that's aspiring to go into real estate and specifically do a flip, what would be your advice for that? Because that would be something that I'm interested in doing. A lot of people that listen to this podcast, would be something they're doing. Because real estate is often talked about on a very surface level. Like, oh, I want to flip a house. Let me watch HGTV.
Right, because it's so sexy.
Right. Oh, yeah. Turning something trash to treasure. So
it's so sexy.
What is the actual process of flipping a home? Because I personally know, but people that listen, what does that actually look like? Not the beautiful from trash to treasure, no major problems that can't be fixed, money's not an issue, HGTV show. What's it like on a practical level?
Okay, so can I answer your question, but can I also tell you what I learned along the way?
Yes.
That would be better.
Yes and yes.
Yes.
Please.
So I got into real estate. I was at a Syria meeting. Okay, I think they're still around. There's so many groups now. It's way
There's
different.
there's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been in real estate since I was 23.
Wow.
Oh.
So, I know I don't look a day over like 30.
No, you're not day past 21. What are you talking about?
And so I started going to these meetings, and I was like, I knew I wanted to do real estate because I heard real estate was poor man's way to riches.
Yep.
And so I was like, I got this. Like, I didn't have anyone in my family that did it or whatever. And so at the time, I was a branch manager at a cash advance center. Okay. So that's where it's like a payday loan place where people go and if they need money until their next payday. And so the place I worked was new in town, and we didn't have a lot of customers. And so I sat there for 8 hours a day doing nothing. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to learn about real estate.
Yeah.
And so I used to study real estate. I started studying it. And so I went to Syria, and there was a speaker that came in, and she actually still sells a course. Her name's Robin Thompson. And I bought her course on rehabbing, flipping homes. And it was $1,500, which was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
Right? That'd be like $5,000 today, I think.
Wow.
I mean, I'm no like mathematician
Yeah.
converting numbers, but
Yeah.
I mean, seems like it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm totally buying this.
Sure.
I was like, this is my jam. Like all that drama, dealing with those contractors, sign me up.
Yeah.
So I bought the course, and that's when I really fell in love with flipping. So I took it on the chin a few times. Like, you know, you lose money when you flip. Okay? And so I want to repeat that. You will lose money when you flip. Okay? If you're doing enough deals, shit just happens. You know, like I didn't know that sewer line was going to need replaced. Or, you know, my crews were idiots and they freaking roofed the wrong garage. Like, you know, all this stuff has happened to me. I could tell you so many stories. And so, so I started flipping, and I started flipping a lot. I was like before any of the players you know that you know are players. I was a player before them. Okay.
Lifelong player.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so I was like, what if I started a construction company? Because now I can do construction for everyone, and I don't have to source the deals.
Yeah.
I can make money off the construction. Okay?
Which is typically the hardest part sometimes of the flip, is finding a contractor that's reliable.
That's hard.
Good prices.
It's hard.
On time. Yeah.
There's so many pieces and parts of a flip that people don't understand.
Yep.
Right? Because, and you have to have, talking about, you know, pulling people in on your board that are good at certain pieces. Like, you better know someone that knows value.
Yep.
Who's going to sell that house?
Right.
Yeah.
You better know your construction costs. You better make sure that thing's not in a floodplain. You better make sure that the zoning's right. There are so many things you have to know.
Right.
And so I was like, so after I'd flipped so many, I was like, oh, I'm going to start a construction company. So that's how I got really kind of fell in love with project management, because I was like, all these other people are taking the risk, and all I got to do is show up and manage.
Yeah.
And I'm almost going to make as much money as them with no risk managing this. Plus, I can manage 20 projects at a time with no thing. And then I was in business with my software business when real estate fell out in 2008. I was like, well, what am I going to do now? And so we were like, a couple other guys I knew owned a software company. We're like, let's start a software company. And so they really pushed me to get my broker's license. And so I had always kind of been a little bit negative towards real estate brokers, and probably a huge asshole too. And so got my broker's license, didn't really do anything with it, except look dumb.
Right.
Because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so, just recently, about a year and a half ago, I partnered up with someone and actually work underneath Tucker. And so it's been very humbling for me, because like I used to be the biggest jerk to real estate agents, and this has been so awesome for me to sit in this seat now and realize what real estate agents go through. And I don't know if either one of you are licensed, but okay, so that paperwork, that's a bitch.
That's not the best.
No, like I am big picture, like to pull me down in the details of all that, it's like OMG. But they don't make the perfect person. And so it's really important for me to make sure that I have people in the right seats that can do all that and handle all that paperwork and stuff. And so I guess it's kind of the universe's way of like laughing at me, going, "Yeah, you're gonna be an asshole. Watch this. You're now a broker." Yeah. And so, but because I'm a broker, I've been given a lot of good opportunities to help people either buy or sell houses, and it's been a good lesson for me. I think that's really what the bigger picture is the lesson in how to act and how we should be acting and treat people with respect. And we're all equals, really. It doesn't matter how much money you make. And so I realize now, like when I was fortunate enough to flip so many houses, I realize now just how important the people that brought me the deals were, brokers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was too busy making so much money back then that I didn't realize that. And so I realize that now. And so, to the wholesalers out there and, the real estate agents, it's like, they're on the forefront of the fighting lines for us and for the flippers. And they have to take a lot of crap from these sellers. And, I just think that wholesalers and real estate brokers really should have as much respect as flippers, because I think these TV shows, they put flippers on this pedestal.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And I don't know, it's probably something else I don't agree with. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I mean, I've done it, and I can say I've done it and written a book on it and flipped a lot of houses. And
how many have you actually flipped? Do you have the number? Or?
Yeah, so I have flipped over 2,000 houses.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've been around
thinking like 50.
No,
I was ready to hear like 150, not 2,000.
Yeah,
That's
I've been
lot.
around the block a few times. I've been in the business since 1998.
Is that all in Indianapolis too?
It's all in Indianapolis.
Wow.
Yes.
What neighborhood are you typically in?
Well, I don't flip anymore.
Oh.
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I learned my lesson. I don't need to take that risk because I know so much now.
Sure.
I don't need to take on that risk. Flipping's a lot of risk.
It is a lot, yeah.
And so when you know what I know, you broker stuff. You broker deals. You broker construction. It's all brokering. When you're a flipper, you're assuming risk because you're owning it. Think about all the stuff that can happen from A to Z.
Yeah.
And so I'm not telling you guys not to flip. Okay, but what I'm telling you, everyone listening, I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is get educated. Where you become a consultant in this business, and your time is worth a lot of money. Whether it's you're learning how to find deals and you broker things, you're brokering time.
I'm soaking this in. Sorry.
Mind blown.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I listen to podcasts about, and the fact that I can be here listening to it in person is pretty cool. Yeah, that's amazing.
So moving forward, then. You're doing all the brokering work. What are your aspirations personally, in business, and life in general, moving forward for like the next foreseeable future?
So I do have a list made of the things I might consider doing in retirement.
Really?
And so I think, one of them is I want to rent out beach chairs. Another one, it's all this stuff like outside.
Yeah.
And I was sharing it with my family. I was like, a lemonade stand on the Plainfield Trail.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And so I think for me, it's just really not to get too bogged down. Like I think everyone gets so bogged down and they forget to have fun.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, I'd be fine like in retirement when I don't need to make money. I love hot dogs. I love gas station hot dogs. That's another thing you would not expect.
Interesting.
Right? Plot twist. I love gas station hot dogs. Like off the roller, like really, like just everyone's been breathing on it, touching it. Like I love it.
That's funny.
I mean, I love people and I love to talk to people.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I might go work at a gas station, like, and just talk to people and have like interactions with people. Like, I don't need to be like, oh, I'm gonna do this great thing. Like
Yeah.
you're expecting this great answer. No, I'm gonna go freaking rent out beach chairs on the beach.
Yeah.
And I might do that for 6 weeks and get bored, and I'm gonna go work at the gas station, and then I'm gonna own a hot dog stand, and then I'm gonna freaking do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah. So it sounds like your aspirations are less achievement driven, more so strength driven and personality driven and lifestyle driven.
Yeah, because remember, all the Type A personality people died, and they didn't make it to Florida.
Yep.
So your goal is to make it to Florida?
My goal is to make
Make
it
it
to
to
Florida.
Florida. Literally or metaphorically?
Both.
Both? Okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
There you
both.
go.
Like I want warm weather.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why weather right now is
I know,
so
like
nice.
this nice weather. I'm like, I couldn't resist taking the dogs for a walk this morning. I couldn't resist it.
Perfect.
So for those that might be listening who have heard all of this amazing stuff about you, all of your experience, maybe are even themselves in the real estate business, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you if that's something you're open to doing, or learn more about some of the stuff you've done?
Sure. I actually prefer text messaging. So if somebody wants to text me, they can. Don't call me unless the freaking world is crashing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they text me first and like, hey,
Sure.
can I call you? So 317-695-8989.
Awesome. And we'll put that in the description as well, too.
Yeah. That's
So you'll get a whole bunch of spam and
Yeah.
telemarketers that you can recruit to you. And Yep. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been awesome learning just about your different ventures and your life and just your passions. It's been really cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to, well, what really is a first season of the Hustle Indie Show.
Absolutely.
We've got 12 episodes under our belt.
Yeah, and a lot more to come.
And a lot more to come. So thank you guys. Make sure to subscribe, share this stuff with all your family and friends, and we will see you in the next season.